Welcome back to CAD 200, and in this class, this is just basically going to be some tips for this week and your wireframing, and it can be pretty strenuous. It can be aggravating because it's just kind of hard to see wireframes when you get them twisting around. Just so in that, I want to show you a few things that you need to always do when you're working with wireframe, and I want to open up my menu bar here, and I want to pull a few tools out of my toolbars, and I always tell you to get these tools out. I always like to have my orbit out there, and I also like to have tools, toolbars, and I always like to have my UCS out there. And you can get to all this stuff in your ribbon, and right here this is. And also I want to grab my views, and again the views are in here as well. You just got to go up here to view and get to that tab, which is right here. Alright, with those things in there like that, I always like to take and use my view, my southeast isometric, just like that. And I'm just going to draw, I always like to draw the entire object out just like squared up. If it's going to be 5 and x comma 3, and then if it's going to be let's say 2 inches tall, I'm just going to do a copy, and just make sure that you always watch your x, y, and z. And if you don't know where your 0 is, hit at, makes that relative movement, 0 comma 0. And then I want to come up, let's say 2 inches, 2 and z. And then I always like just to go ahead while I'm in here and just go ahead and connect the dots and make my square, and then I can work off that square to build whatever components I need to build. For instance, if you want to take and draw like a little offset here and down, let's do that. Let's say I want to come over here maybe a half of an inch, shoot back over here. Just gotta make sure that you snap to it. Come up here, make sure you snap to it, make sure you snap to it, back down. And now I want to come up. Let's come up a half of an inch here, and then back, just like that. Across, make sure it's perpendicular, back across, perpendicular, tie everything in, and then you can pull everything back down. Now, I know I've already had a video and you might have done this already, and if you have, that's fine. I just wanted to show you just a few little tricks that might help you when you're wireframing. Let's get rid of that, and then we will take and explode that. And you can trim at this point. We'll get rid of all that. So, you go to your orbit now, and here's this thing, and I want to show you something. This is your X, Y, Z. This is your world coordinate. If I hit world, it doesn't move because that's my world coordinate. These are my user coordinate systems over here, okay? What they do is this. 3-point is, in my opinion, is my favorite. See, if I wanted to work on this plane right here, now, right now in the world coordinate, you're only going to draw in the XY, and the world coordinates down here. So if I were to go up here and take and put a circle in here and rotate it around, you'll notice that circle is on that XY plane, and this is that XY plane right here. Okay. Now, if for instance you want to put the XY plane up here on this rectangle, I'm highlighting it. What you have to do is just go up here to 3-point, and the first 2 picks is your X direction, positive, and then the third pick is your Y. See how I put the X this way and then the Y going this way. Now you'll notice if I go up here and put a cylinder or something of the sort, you'll notice that it puts it on that plane. Okay? It's just kind of like a new sketch when you go into Inventor or SolidWorks. Okay? kind of works the same way. And again, if you want to go back to your world coordinate, go back to its original state, you just hit world, the little, looks like a little globe, and it puts it back to its normal state. 3 point again, I want to be out here. This would be my first point in X. This would be the positive direction in X, my second point. And then Y is my positive direction up there like that. And then you can draw whatever you want to draw on this face. That was my new sketch. Alright. And like I said, you can draw things. This right here, you can draw and come up here to these things, but you just got to make sure when you're going to other lines that you snap to it, because let's say for instance I done something like that. You see what I'm saying? It does something, it'll follow that XY, but if I start here and I snap back here to this back line perpendicular or something like that, right there you go. If you snap to that line, it'll actually go to it. Does that make sense? But if you don't snap to nothing and you're just hitting in space, it'll always put it in whatever XY plane that you're in. Okay? So just make sure when you're drawing in wireframe that you just take a minute or two and then hit orbit and then kind of spin this thing around just a fuzz, okay? Just so that you know where you're at. Now, I want to hit world coordinate and I'll hit southeast isometric. I like to use that one, and when I do that it puts me right back there to my original spot when I started so I don't get confused. So those are a few little things that's going to help you to understand, and also not only the 3 point, but there's a couple more things. You'll see X, you'll see Y and Z. Now what X does, if I click on X, X stays the same. X doesn't move. You see how it's there? My Y and Z's are rotating. So you tell this thing, I want to go 90 degrees. See how my Y is now going up and down now, and my Z's going this way because I rotated it around that X 90 degrees. So I hit it again and type in 90. It's going to go again like this. My Y is this way, my Z's up and down. If I go back to world, it puts it back to its normal state. If you want to do Y, it remains solid. And you can take and rotate 90, 180, whatever you want to do. And Z is the same thing as well. I hit world, go to Z. Z is stationary. Z doesn't move. And I can change it to 90. Alright, so you can use these tools. Those are handy, but 3 point's my favorite, and just world coordinate, and that will help you to draw and make different planes on AutoCAD when you're doing 3D wireframing. If you need more help, please let me know, because I know this can be confusing, but once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad.